Hello everybody, my name is David BROCKLEHURST. I'm the co-owner of Charlotte Stud, along with my wife. We're just outside Towcester in Northamptonshire, and I am standing for election to the TBA Council to represent smaller breeders, whose plight is well known. 66% of smaller breeders, according to the PwC Economic Impact Study, have lost money, and I am standing to see whether I can do something to alleviate that problem. I was brought up on a farm in Cheshire, and my mother bred national hunt horses. At the same time, I pursued a career in the city as a chartered surveyor and a chartered insurance practitioner. So I should be in pretty good shape for when regulation is required to conduct the breeding industry. My initiatives for standing really relate to increasing the demand for our product, i.e. what we breed, the foals, through increased prize money. And my thoughts on that really centre around the report that's been done by Porters Consulting on behalf of the BHA that should show how the profits from gambling and media rights and racing are distributed amongst the various stakeholders. I think we'll find that the breeders and the owners are getting the short straw there, so I hope that we can persuade government to level up the playing field so that we can have prize money at least equal to those of our European competitors in America and Australia. Secondly, my second initiative will be centred around reducing costs, and the best way of doing that, I feel, is, apart from the stallion fields being more realistic going forward, will be the introduction of artificial insemination, which would tick the environmental and the welfare boxes, as well as giving breeders far more choice of stallions. The principal reason why this wasn't done last year or the year before was the fear of the proliferation of particular stallions. Now the Americans have decided to cap the number of mares that the stallion can cover to 140. I think that knocks that issue on the head. Equally, I'm also hoping to have initiatives around the welfare horse and staff, in terms of retraining of racehorses so that they have a use after racing. I'd like to see the introduction of some risk assessment templates so that all studs can practice in the best possible manner to avoid injury to staff. Other initiatives would include not being left behind on the Brexit trail, whether we have a deal or no deal. The tripartite will also be keen to ensure that breeders don't miss out on RPA payments in their new guise of environmental land management scheme that the government is proposing. And going back to artificial insemination, the TBA did a great job in making sure that the breeding season continued. But if in future we have a lockdown that prevents the movement of animals and horses, how will we then breed? So I think artificial insemination has got to be considered very carefully going forward. In conclusion, the industry for smaller breeders is definitely in a sort of crisis mode. Crisis requires change. I would stand for change on the basis that we owe it to the staff that work in the industry and those that are trained to work in the industry to ensure they have a better future which they deserve. Thank you very much for any support that you can offer me. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Colin BRYCE. I'm pleased to be standing in the election to be a trustee for the board of the Thoroughbred Breeders Association. My wife and I have a small stud here in Hertfordshire, 100 acres or so, with 8 flatbred mares that we breed hopefully to sell the progeny. My background in business was with the oil business and the financial services business. I spent over 30 years at Morgan Stanley, culminating in taking the role of chairman of Morgan Stanley Bank International Limited. I'm semi-retired now, still do a little bit of consulting work here and there, and the rest of my time is taken up here on the stud. So there are 3 reasons specifically why I put my name forward, 3 interests that I have. The first is in education. Here at Laundry Cottage, we take 5 or 6 students every year from vet schools, the RVC, Bristol, Liverpool and others, as well as students from further education colleges, so Writtle, Oaklands, places like Shuttleworth, places like that. And we give them paid work experience, and we're very keen on promulgating education for the young folks who are trying to get into the industry, to help them get a toehold, get some experience, and get something relevant to put on their CV. So I think the TBA can do a lot and do a lot in education, and I'm very interested in that part of the potential role should I be elected. Secondly, I spent a lot of time over my particularly financial services career with regulators. I understand the dangers of both under-regulation and over-regulation, and as such, I think in the current environment, the thoroughbred industry has something to say about regulation, and I'll be interested in being part of that discussion and debate. And then thirdly and lastly, I'm very interested in the economics for small breeders particularly. The sums don't add up these days, and the TBA have been particularly active, especially recently with the GBBI scheme, and I want to see more done on the cost side, so that breeders can have a chance of making some money, making a small profit, which currently is a very difficult thing to do. So I hope you'll consider voting for me. I can be reached at our email, bryce@laundrycottagestud.com, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have about my further reasons for standing and my interests. So thank you very much for listening, and again, I hope you'll consider voting for me. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Hi there. My name's Billy Jackson Stops, and I'm running in the election to be on the Board of Trustees for the TBA. I'm 31 years old, I'm a bloodstock consultant and based out of Newmarket. The reason why I'm running in this election is because I'm passionate about the industry itself, and I want to make sure it's there, safeguarded for the future, and for myself. I hope I've still got many years left to come in the industry. The biggest problem I see, as does everyone else, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work it out, is prize money. We often talk about trying to get more money to the smaller breeders, but that cannot be done unless we've got new owners buying their produce. And without prize money, we cannot attract new owners into this industry. And that's the simple fact of it. We will forever be supported by foreign money at the top of the market, and our middle market will struggle if we can't get local owners in to buy the horses that the breeders are producing. This is best represented in Australia. Australia has a phenomenal prize money system from top to bottom. The bottom level of their racing is country racing, and the worst race at that level is still worth $22,000 as a race, which is $13,000 to the winner. Owners can come in, they can take their 10, 20, 30% horses and know that even if the horse is beyond average, they still won't have to put their hand back in the pocket to pay for the training fees of the horse, and they can enjoy it. Here, we don't have that, and without being able to get the prize money sorted, we will never have that. And we will continue to have, as we always say with nearly every single sale, a polarised market, because we don't have the clients to come in and pick up that middle part of the market. And that affects all of us, from hobby breeders, professional breeders. We struggle to get that money down to where it should go. And with this and the rising cost of stallion nominations, we then struggle and end up on a horrible conveyor belt of not being able to send the mares to the fashionable or successful stallions because the nomination price is too high. And then therefore the stock, or your stock as breeders, is never getting the money it probably deserves. We can continue to paper over the cracks with as many bonus schemes as we want, but that is all it's doing, is papering over the cracks. So the biggest thing that I want to do if I can get into the TBA is play a stronger part in helping reshape the levy, or whatever part I can do to make a difference in the prize money. And I think that once the prize money gets sorted, it'll play a huge part in being able to attract the next generation into the industry. At the moment, it's a lot easier for a younger person to probably go and sit in the warm behind a desk and earn the same money as they would working long hours outside in the racing industry. You have to really love it to be in it. But again, if we can get the prize money to be sorted and we can get that money filtered down to the right places, we can start paying people more and attract more people into the industry. So for me, those are my biggest key parts of why I would like to be on the TBA and trying to make a change now. I feel as though the younger generations of the industry probably aren't being represented as well as they should be. And it's another reason as to why myself and what I consider a slightly younger part of the industry would like to be on the TBA. So if I could get your vote, I'd be very, very pleased with that, and that'd be very kind of you. Many thanks.
Hello, my name's Stuart Matheson and I'm standing for election to the TBA Board of Trustees. My wife Sarah and I operate a small private stud in Staffordshire where we have 4 broodmares, and I'm also the regional representative for the TBA covering Wales and the west of England. In the next few years, the TBA will be a vital organisation in representing not only the breeders of the racehorses that we love, but also the breed itself. The recession is likely to bite, and whilst we are seeing good headline figures at the higher end of the sales spectrum, we are yet to see the results at the lower end. And of course, it's at this part of the market where most of us operate. As an owner who then breeds horses, it's also going to be difficult, not having access to see your horse race and having the issues around prize money and the race programme. There are some real positives that have happened. However, the TBA have worked very hard to ensure that the covering season for 2020 was able to continue, and also the introduction of the Great British Bonus looks to not only reward breeders and owners, but the early indications are that they make a material difference to the resale value of our horses. Small breeders are vital in maintaining the diversity of the breed. We have to maintain the health of the breed and the welfare. The loss of the Animal Health Trust is a massive blow, and a viable alternative has to be found in order to support us and racing in general. Brexit also has levels of uncertainty, and once again the TBA has to represent breeders as we navigate those particular waters. But I believe that the TBA, and with me representing breeders from the whole spectrum, can succeed and will make a difference. For over 100 years the TBA has fought for breeders and for the wonderful horses which we breed. We really need to step up to the plate, and I hope that you'll allow me to represent you in that journey. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kate Sigsworth and I'm the working stud manager of Westmoor Stud in the Vale of York, where I have 10 flat mares and their followers. I've put myself forward to the TBA board for election for a number of reasons, but I firstly want to thank the TBA for enabling us to keep covering our mares during the COVID-19 crisis. Pandemics and the threat they pose to covering our mares is something that we need a frank discussion about so can be on the forefront to protect our industry in the future. The Great British Bonus, the GBB, has been a real boost to British breeders and to owners who race their horses in Britain, and I'd like to see a commitment to the continuation of this scheme. Breeding is long term and some certainty over our breeding bonus would be welcome. Staff retention is an issue that's close to my heart. There have been huge improvements on the recognition of stud staff, but I feel their skills are less celebrated than stable staff's skills. A levelling up on this front has to be a goal for everybody in this industry. A career path and progression would be a great thing if we could get something in place like that for stud staff. I'd like to see less duplication of paperwork with regard to mare forms for covering, and a standardisation of paperwork is needed by stallion masters. It would be a real help during a stressful period for mare owners. I'd also like to see a movement of the free withdrawal date for the date of the foal sales, so it comes after the yearling sales. This would help everybody organise their finances and prepare for paying for nominations. These are just a few of my ideas. I'd be grateful if you could give some thought to giving me your vote.